welcome. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Kelly. It's a pleasure to be here.
We were very interested in your story as what it tells us about restaurants in particular suffering from this pandemic. Tamar, you could reopen. You did reopen. Why did you decide to close the dining room again?
So we really gave it a shot. We gave it a week. We hired back our team. We got all of our systems in place, all of our health and safety protocols to make sure that we were compliant with all the COVID-19 regulation. And basically what we found was not only is it not really feasible for restaurants to operate at 50% capacity, but we found that with regards to our staff, there really was just no way to 100% protect them. Obviously, guests were required to wear masks on entry, but as soon as they would sit down to eat, obviously those masks would come off and they would stay off for the entirety of the meal. And so our staff were sort of forced to be in a position where they were much more exposed to the virus than they wanted to be.
Are you going to be able to stay in business?
That remains to be seen. I think every restaurant's doing what they can to survive right now. So, right now we're still going to operate as normal with our takeout model. It's obviously not going to sustain us long term, but for now it kind of keeps us afloat. It's actually been reasonably successful for us, and people are loving what we're doing from a takeout perspective. Ideally, we're just hoping that things change, that restrictions are lifted soon, and we can kind of get back to a normal operation.
Did you ask for or receive any of the funds from the PPP?
We did. We applied for the PPP loan basically on the day that they were accepting applications. Like many small businesses, we missed out on funding on that first round. It did become apparent that a lot of big corporations got all that money on the first go-round. So with the second go-around of funding, we were able to secure a PPP loan. But, with that comes a whole range of issues as well. And I'm sure many restaurants feel the same way, that the guidelines surrounding that PPP loan are really quite challenging. For a long time, we only had about 8 weeks to use those funds. And we had to use those funds specifically in a 75% ratio to payroll, 25% to rent and utilities. So for the first couple of months of the shutdown, every restaurant in the country was trying to figure out how they can use this money effectively to get forgiveness on the loan with a restaurant that's not open. Fortunately, those guidelines were changed only just in the last few weeks. And so we now have an extension to use the loan, and it sort of makes it much more of a feasible situation.